It was 2012 when I first got sick. I was 16 and high achiever. Came home on a Monday night, was really unwell. And it was, about 2 weeks later or something like that. It was on my 16th birthday. I got diagnosed with glandular fever, which then, progressed to a later in the year diagnosis in October of CFS ME. There was a couple of doctors. Don't get me wrong, there was heaps of doctors, but everything was forget the life that you're currently living. That won't be it. Like, you need to adapt to your new life. It was disheartening, obviously. I did pull back on my extracurricular activities, didn't get really a choice. And so then to hear that on top of losing everything else, horrible. Always had tremendous leg pain. Also the brain fog, which then coincided with like the cognitive function of just short-term memory. I used to faint quite a bit as well when I first got sick. But my main things was obviously the insomnia, just the pain.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another success story from CFS Health on chronic fatigue syndrome recovery. I'm super stoked to interview this young woman today, Brittany Leo. Great to see you here.
Hi. Oh my goodness. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We go way back. In fact, you work with me in my clinic, the CFS Health Centre back in Melbourne, Australia, way before we originated the online recovery program. And, we've been helping thousands of people in 68 countries now, which has been a long time coming since, we spoke, over 10 years ago now, I think. And we stumbled across each other on social media the other day and I was like, oh my God, that's Brittany Leo. That's the young girl that I helped with her recovery. And then I was looking through your page and you're doing all sorts of amazing things. You just did a DJ hosted event at the Australian Open tennis match, which I thought was just insane, which doesn't surprise me because you were doing that stuff as you were getting better. So I'm really keen to dive into, your story and kind of where you've come from and where you're at now, because it's super inspiring. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're a massive part of my journey. And you said it was 2012 when I first got sick. So it was over 10 years ago that we crossed paths.
Wow, that's wild. Take me back to 2012. How old were you? What was going on in your life?
Yeah, I was 16 and high achiever. I was dancing like 3 times a week after school, as well as teaching. I was also doing singing lessons twice a week, driving 40 minutes to classes and back, also teaching. That I was studying. So I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot, and I loved it. It's still very much in the realm of what I'm currently doing. So very much loved everything I was doing. It was actually, I came home on a Monday night, was really unwell. And it was, about 2 weeks later or something like that. It was on my 16th birthday. I got diagnosed with glandular fever.
Right.
Which then, progressed to a later in the year diagnosis in October of CFS ME.
Did you, who did you see back then? Was it Dr. Lionel Lubitz that diagnosed you, like the head of Royal Children's Hospital? Do you remember?
No, it was a clinic in Camberwell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not pinpoint, without saying anything, I don't have the best memory of him. Justin was very negative on everything. So I feel like that's just blocked out. Yeah.
Interesting. So tell us about that experience, because so many people, when they get diagnosed or they go around, they think that they just need to find a doctor who will fix them and cure them. And I'm sure you and your mum were probably doing the same thing. I know that's what pretty much all of our clients go through. Was it a similar experience when you went to the doctor and he was like, well, you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, good luck? Or what were the things?
Yeah, definitely. There was a couple of doctors. Don't get me wrong, there was heaps of doctors. I was 16, so I was very lucky to have the support of my mother, who researched and went and saw and spoke to people and went to doctors and yada yada. But everything was forget the life that you're currently living. That won't be it. Like, you need to adapt to your new life.
Yeah. Not what you want to hear when you're the type of person you are, like doing everything from dance to singing to freaking, you name it. You were doing it all.
Yeah, no, it was disheartening, obviously. And
very lucky now, can look back and be like, what the heck? But at the time, it was horrible. I was 16 years old. I was in high school, and I was about to go into my, obviously, all my exams, year 11, year 12, and I had to stop when I finally got that diagnosis of CFSME. I did pull back on my extracurricular activities, didn't get really a choice. And so then to hear that on top of losing everything else, I mean, it's horrible.
What were like three of the main symptoms that you were struggling with back then, like when you were diagnosed?
My number one symptom has always been really bad leg pain that radiates heat. My mum used to touch my legs and say it felt like they were actually about to just light on fire. Always had tremendous leg pain. For me, also the brain fog, which then coincided with like the cognitive function of just the short-term memory. I used to sit in classes and answer a question to something, and then they'd ask me to repeat it, and I had no idea that I even answered it. And I used to faint quite a bit as well when I first got sick. Used to faint a lot. But yeah, my main things was obviously the insomnia, just the pain. I just remember the radiating of the legs. I used to just try and put ice packs on my legs and see if that would help the burning sensation. That would.
Yeah. You were in a pretty bad way. Like I remember when you came to see me first, like pretty much everything was out of whack, you know. And you and your mum were feeling super lost. Shout out to Tracy, she's amazing. And your dog that you used to bring into the clinic as well. But you know, it was a hard journey, but I remember like vividly, like your first couple of sessions, because there was a lot going on and different symptoms and struggles and unknowns, because the doctor was like, well, there's nothing you can do. And then you come to see me and I'm like, well, hey, recovery is possible. You know, we've got to figure out a plan. And you're probably thinking, what's this guy talking about? I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to hear, what was it like when you first met me and you started the program? Like, what was it like for you? Were you scared? Did you have hope? You know, do you remember those days? Like, it was a long time ago, I know, but like, just bring your memory back.
No, definitely. I think my mother saw the hope, which then was what propelled me, because literally I wouldn't be anywhere close to how I am without her. Yeah. So I think she helped me by seeing the hope. But I think at that point, it was just like, let's get through whatever we need to get through. So if she said, okay, Toby said, let's do this, we were doing it. So I don't know if I would have got there on my own, to be honest. Definitely having the support of hearing someone believe that there was recovery and then having someone else to almost go, yeah, okay, then we can do this. Then that's what got me.
You make a good point.
I think I was pretty.
Yeah. Well, you're exhausted, right? Like, so it's the last thing you want to be, the last thing you're thinking about is like, is it even possible? And yeah, shout out to all the mums and the caregivers. I think this is going to be really relatable actually, because it's true. Like most commonly what happens is it's someone outside of you who will say, hey, there's this, let's give this a go. Or, hey, there's this program, let's actually try this, or it makes sense. And it's hard because the person who's suffering, you don't have the energy to think about it. You don't have the blank brain clarity and the cognition to be like, yeah, let's do it. You're kind of like, really? Like another thing to do? Is this going to be another doctor's appointment where I'm just going to be like upset, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like the one part of that time of my life that I always look back on is now I can see it clearer up, but at that time it felt like I was just living someone else's life. It really felt like reading, like I can look back now and it's like reading a book. It just feels a little foreign. So I think I was just kind of going through the motions, whatever that looked like for the day. So having someone else to point me in the direction that needed to go and say, just give this a go. It was at the time, it was just like, all right, like I'm already kind of done. So if you want to do this, then yeah, let's just give it a go and we'll just see. That's how I remember it. But yeah, I mean, it's wild. It's crazy.
You're doing amazing things. Like we'll talk about that in a moment about, you know, what you're up to these days with your singing, your DJing, your dancing, your Pilates, your gymming, all of the things. I feel like you're going to be like, I feel like you're going to be the next Pink, you know, because you know Pink is like, she's, no, but not in like a Pink way, but just like she's so fit, she's so strong. She does the acrobat thing. She does everything. You know what I mean? She's kind of like a.
Were you going to say, yeah, I can picture you hanging off a roof singing? And I was like, I don't think so.
No, I don't know. You kind of got the fitness for it. So yeah, it's a pretty large contrast compared to like where you're at these days, and it's been like this for a while now, and also before when you were sick. What were like two main challenges that stand out for you, like when you didn't really know what the hell was going on? Do you remember like what were two big challenges for you?
Finding the baseline will always be something I remember struggling with. Like, walk 10 minutes a day, and it's like, nah, I can do 50. It's like, no, don't do that. And I remember doing that quite a few times and then going backwards. And it's you go, it's only 5 more minutes. I can do it. You go, no. It's like, pull back. So that was definitely like a massive challenge. And also, I mean, then the challenge of being 16 years old and watching your friends go out after school and continue their life, or finish up on the school holidays and go, yeah, I'm going to go here. We're going to go do this. Do you want to come? And at the time I didn't, which looking back, I probably should have disclosed more to the people around me what was going on. But a lot of my close friends had no idea how sick I was, just that I was taking all time off school. I used to say to people, oh, I've just got a really bad flu. Definitely didn't admit it enough to myself and then to the people around me that was definitely an extra challenge that I put on myself.
It's almost like you'd select this identity piece, particularly because you were such a high achiever as well. There was probably like a lot of pressure to keep up that image, you know. What was that like for you? Like, not hiding, but like, because this is a real common problem that every single person goes through recovery of, like, yeah, not being fully honest with yourself, not actually showing the real you to the world. Like, how hard was that at the age of 16? Like,
again, at the time, it felt like the right thing because then I kind of just hid in silence. I dealt with it myself.
yeah.
Even though I was 16, you had no idea what that looks like. And then I had my mum, who then probably took way too much of the weight as well. So at the time, looking back, I don't regret it, but also, I mean, even now there'll be something that pops up and I'll be like, oh yeah, like when I had this, and they're like, you had this? Like, what happened? Like, thing. And I'm like, oh, like, I'm still definitely nowhere near as open with it all as I could and should be and would want to be. But again, it comes back to that stigma of what the name is and how people refer to it. And I mean, then this is why there needs to be more of an open conversation about it all. But,
Yep.
you know, so it's that full circle of you just end up running in a little mouth trap.
It is horrible. Like that, there's nothing worse when, you know, you've got chronic fatigue syndrome and then your school think you're making it up. Your friends think you're just tired and lazy. You know, they're like, you're not motivated, you're just depressed. All these kind of like one-off comments can be so detrimental to just your own overall well-being and emotional well-being too.
And you hear it once or twice and you don't realize how much it actually sticks with you, that you get to that point where you go, I'm okay. Or I've just got the flu. Yeah. And you just, the narrative changes.
It's almost not worth talking about because it just hurts too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is super, super common. Okay. So you're lost, you're confused, you're hiding because you're just like, well, screw everyone because they're not going to get it anyway. So I'm just going to tell them I've got the flu, even though I'm like struggling hard. And then you stumble across CFS Health Recovery Program. What changed for you? Obviously you mentioned baseline before, but like when you entered the program, and your mum was amazing. Like, she was such a good support. I remember her like pretty much coming into every session, you know, just being there and listening and taking notes and just kind of like help supporting you. And I think that's just like freaking amazing. What were 3 things that you saw over the trajectory of the time that we spent together? Like what came to mind that was like super helpful, or what changed for you, apart from, obviously you mentioned baseline before, stopping that push crash cycle was definitely one of them. Particularly we worked on your routine and structure. I've got crazy good memory. I remember sitting down with you and literally scheduling your week with your school, you know, the whole thing. Like, yeah, I remember that all. So, you know, that was one thing. What are some other things that were just like changed and opened up for you?
Nutrition. 100%. Nutrition is one of the things and it's still with me this day. I ate 2 eggs poached
mushrooms and tomato each morning for breakfast for about a year, and or maybe longer, and I can't stand to see that on my plate anymore. But it definitely helped. I ate that, and then I had like vegetables and just cooked chicken for dinner. And yeah, I mean, coming from someone that was so active that I used to eat and loved food, but like the wrong kind of food, that definitely was not helping me in the long run. So no, nutrition is something that and it's something I'm really passionate about now.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah, changing my diet to a whole foods predominantly focused diet. And timing meals around different times of the day as well, eating consistently, 3 to 6 meals a day or 3 meals, 2 snacks, like all of that is something that I've taken now, but at the time it changed the game.
You don't think
Between that,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, exactly. You don't think it at the time because you're like, what's that going to do? I'm so sick. But then when we realize that the food is fuel, nutrition is the fuel for your body to function, it's like, I remember sitting down again, infusing that through your daily routine and baseline to make sure that, you're doing all the right things there as well. Meal frequency, protein, good carbs.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong. I remember the first 3 to 6 months hating everything.
I remember that. Yeah. It's like, oh, hold on.
I was also, when I was with you, I was like at least 20 kilos heavier than what I currently am. But I mean, yeah, being so sedentary for so long, then I was trying different medicines and all the things that I did. I remember the scale jumping up, and I'm asthmatic, so I was on a couple of different steroids. But once it also that helped, just feeling lighter in myself and feeling more confident in myself, like all of that. But that all goes back to nutrition and looking after yourself and feeling like I had a bit more control. I think a lot of for me stems from I am a little bit of a control freak. I like having a handle on situations, and in this kind of condition and this illness, you don't, for at least when you're not getting the help you need and the guidance and the support. So I think that was when I was able to start taking back, picking within the realm of what I was going to eat. It gave me that sense of, oh, nope, I can do this. This is me.
You're spot on. You make a good point actually about and like whether you're a control freak or not doesn't really matter. Like when you experience something like chronic fatigue syndrome, that you feel like the control is all gone. Like you feel like you've got no control whatsoever. And then, part of our program and part of the things that you and I did together was like, all right, what can we control? What are the controllables? What are the non-negotiables that you can control in your 24 hours that you have? And it turns out to be quite a lot of things. It's just that when you feel totally shit and wiped out, it feels like you don't have any control over anything,
Yeah.
I vividly remember 6 months into working together, there was like a confidence shift in you. And I don't know if you remember this. I bet your mum will. But like it was almost like you used to walk into the center differently. Like there was a spring in your step. There was like a cheekiness, a confidence. The sass was coming back. Do you remember that shift, like that change in time?
To be honest, I don't remember the shift. In saying that, there was definitely there's a moment that clicks for me where I go like I want to go see him, or I want to go do this, or I want to go do the program. I don't mind doing 10 push-ups against the wall. Like so many push-ups against the wall in the end. But like I remember doing all that with you, but there was a want in the end instead of I am getting in the car and let's just see if this goes anywhere. There was actually a drive to come see you.
There you go.
And
Interesting.
I used to enjoy ourselves. Yeah, so that's definitely that, and that must have been translated, which is nice.
Yeah, totally. But it's a shift, and it's only because you start to feel better. Whereas at the start you're kind of not sure, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? And then all of a sudden, one of the things we worked on was a big part of your reconditioning rehabilitation was re-strengthening your body and reconditioning it. So you could go and do the DJing and the singing and all the other things. And over time, if you do it consistently, you just get better results. You start to feel better.
100%.
I'm trying to think, do you remember integrating into life? Like, I remember your first gig back, like you were like, oh, I've been off, my agency's got me this job and like, you know, it's a big deal. Do you remember like integrating back into life and doing the singing and the dancing and all those things? Can you talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a time where then I was back to doing 2, maybe singing lessons a week. I was able to get to school more. I didn't finish year 12's exams. I finished year 12. I just didn't do my exams. But there was a moment where then I must have gotten back into, I mean, you know, after I saw you and then I started to get back into the gigs slightly and I started to, I went into studying. I actually managed to study, but I studied a unit that we had to break. I was very lucky. My teachers let me break the unit up into 2 years, which is very uncommon. It's a 1-year course, but it was so helpful that they were able to get me into to pick it up. So I remember I was doing that with you and at the time, and I don't remember how that shift happened. I started, I think from you then I loved exercise and nutrition and stuff like that I started when I was able to. I think I was doing 1 Pilates class a week on the outside of seeing you or from our plan. And yeah, so I mean, it was after so it wasn't all at once, but everything was slow and steady. I mean, I think I just did a couple of like short courses from home in when I could, just to get back into things that I enjoyed, so I could bring that joy back, I guess, to. And what I felt like I'd missed, because then I missed a few years of actually performing and stuff like that. So it was like, what can I do now that I, you know, just felt like I could do something, but obviously I wasn't at that level where we're like, oh, yeah, let's go full time. Let's just integrate a short course that's maybe 2 days a week or 1 day a week or something like that. But there was definitely obviously that shift because I've done a lot since I've seen you.
You've done a hell of a lot. I think like one of the things that helped you the most was literally doing the thing, but then kind of progressing and then doing the thing again. Like it wasn't like you went from 0 to hero overnight. It was like this slow, steady increment over years, really. Like it was, how long was it total, Britt?
Gosh, I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. I want to say, oh, my gut's saying like 7, but something around that number. Because yeah, I mean, like you said, it was really slow increments, and I was still seeing Rhea, even when I was at home studying. Like, so it was slow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say at least 7.
So when you were, but I would say also like you weren't so much focused at the later stages. You weren't really focused on your recovery. You were just focused on life. Do you know what I mean? Like it was integrating onto life. I would say like the last few years. Yeah.
It was life and that I guess, yeah, that normal life that worked for me that year or that time in my period. And then we were able to make it a little more and a little bit more. But yeah, it was finding life within what was, I guess, yeah, the baseline of that period.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like health maintaining, progress, health maintaining, progress. When did you notice your symptoms start to subside?
Gosh. How old am I now? 28? No, well then it's got to be, yeah, now like at least 6 or so years ago, something like that. But more so, I remember, okay, I went into full-time work. I gave it a go. God, I don't know now, but a while ago, early 20s. And that was a moment of me where I realized I wasn't completely better. And I went into full-time work, lasted about, I think it was 3 months. And I went way back. But it, because I knew myself and my symptoms and how to get myself a little bit better, I just went back to basics. And I managed to pull myself out of that rut. And I left that job and think, but I have to think around that time, which, yeah, then was early 20s. It was a big shift for me because as much as I at the time could not manage full-time work, I managed to pick myself up a lot quicker, and I was ready for the symptoms that would come, like if they were going to come back. I knew what to expect, which then I just feel like slowly over time the symptoms got less and less. Yeah, but yeah, the timeline for me is very, very iffy, only because also I feel like maybe it's a trauma thing, but my memory on that time is so come and go. I remember certain things. My mother has the best would remember a lot more than it's very hard.
It's not it's something that you don't really want to remember anyway. It's kind of just like, and also you're living your life now fully, so it's kind of like you don't need to remember it.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, I mean, these are some helpful things to know for people, because it's like to know that you don't have to go from like zero to hero, to know that you don't have to, go from like okay to better overnight, to know that easing into it and maintaining new levels of progress. These things are really helpful and confirming, because when you don't have a plan or you don't have outside help and you're just guessing, you can just guess so many things wrong. Where are you now? Like, tell us about a day in the life of Britt. You're doing so many different things. Give us a bit of an update on what you're up to these days.
I'm very lucky. My day in the life changes every day. But I will always start my day in the gym or at a Pilates session. But I am very active, which is not something like, as much as I was dancing and all the things, but actually to train. So I feel like if you told 16-year-old me that she liked going to the gym, she would have laughed. But I really love it. So I always train. I like to run. I lift weights at least 4 times a week. Love my weight sessions. And then, I do Pilates. So depending on the day, I will depend what mood I'm in. And then, I work for myself in the sense of my music is all me. I book my gigs. I have my clients. And I'm a singer. I'm a DJ. I perform at corporate events and cocktail bars around Melbourne. Like you said, I did the Oz Open. I do the Grand Prix every year.
Wow.
Mother's Day Classic. Been a part of the Mother's Day Classic for the last 10 years. Yeah. I do some sensational gigs. The Fashion Cup Week. So high-end corporate vibes. And then if I'm not DJing or singing, I am a Pilates instructor at the moment. I have done some PT in the past, and I love it. Pilates is great. I really feel like Pilates was also part of when I was able to, I guess, when I was coming out of the other side, and I was finding my baseline in terms of what the world looked like for me and how I incorporated movement into my day. Pilates was very much my love. And I was a client for 5 years, and then I became an instructor myself, and now I get to meet people who come and they walk through the door and they're like, I have not done anything in a very long time, or you hear all sorts of autoimmune conditions, and then we bond, and then they come to my class every week.
You'd be amazed. I mean, with your background of what you've been through, you'd be amazing. Like, so supportive for people who've got like autoimmune diseases and other chronic conditions. It'd be so helpful for them.
It is interesting. I mean, everyone's got a story, but those that walk through the door and they just look so defeated. And then by the end of the session, they look defeated, but they look happier. They're like, I did it. And I'm like, yeah. And then we just keep going from there. And then, if they know and they trust me, they'll come in and they're like, it's not a good day. And I was like, you know what? That's all right. I get it. We'll work with it,
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that you did so great was showing up each week, even when things weren't great, particularly around just like energy levels or symptoms. There was still things you could do despite you having a bad week. And that's something that I admire about you and so many other clients who were coming in back then, was just the level of commitment, regardless of how you felt, was so important to your progress overall, because it wasn't in the weeks that mattered. It was in the months and the combination of months over time that built your capacity for you to be able to, go do a DJ event or go out partying and dancing again and having fun with your friends,
Yeah. Absolutely. No, they say it's in the hardships, that you build that strength. And definitely, if I got through that at the moment, that's my thing. If I got through those years, I can kind of do anything at the moment.
Yeah.
For now. Yeah.
Would you say chronic fatigue syndrome has been a blessing in disguise for you?
It's so weird. I've thought about this question so many times, and there's always going to be a yes, because I found my love for training. It's been my one thing, saves my day. Yeah, nutrition. I became a nutrition coach. Like all of that.
That's from CFS. And there's no other way. But would I wish it on my worst enemy? Absolutely not. So I don't know. I feel like it really depends on the day.
No, I think that sums it up perfectly. It's like it's a bit of but in the end it was so horrible that you wouldn't wish it. I mean, that's lovely to say that you wouldn't want to wish it upon your worst enemy. That's very kind of you. It's true though. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I was very lucky that music stayed a constant love through the whole thing, and I was able to get back to that. But then, yeah, the new love of fitness and nutrition and looking after myself and helping those around me would never have started without going through this. So there's definitely good that's come out of it.
Yeah. What would if you could give any advice right now, or wisdom, not so much advice, but wisdom from someone who's been through it yourself. Someone's watching this right now, probably feeling pretty flat, pretty depleted, and probably felt like you felt on your first session when you came and started with us. What wisdom would you say or share to them?
I think I'd say find your person you can lean on, and then to find your why. If it's the why of that you want to, for me, I always wanted a career. I wanted a career from I was 5. I used to walk around with a suitcase and like I just wanted to be someone. So that was my drive. I knew I was going to come out and I had to do something. And I wanted that. If your why is you want to go travel or you want to go spend time with your kids or something like that, find that why, just pop it on a big note and stick it somewhere that's just that reminder. I love vision boards and all of that. So do whatever you need to do as a reminder and then lean on that person while you get through it. So you're not taking the burden on yourself.
I love that. Did you read your why out every day? Like, was there anything, like reminding yourself, like, what did you do to kind of remind yourself and keep kind of growing? So you talked about your why and like how that important that was for you. Did you read that out every day, or how did you remind yourself of your why and your vision?
I honestly think it's something that's been ingrained in me forever. I mean, I don't think I would have been I wouldn't have done all the extra school activities if I didn't have that drive already in me. So I think that was just automatically part of me. I just wanted something. I wanted to love something. But I mean, don't get me wrong, my mum was the one that used to then when I was sick, she used to help remind me. And there'd be like little things like put on my favorite CD or read out or show me something from a gig that I'd done when I was previous to it all, or what I could do afterwards. So that's why I think the two really do go hand in hand quite well if you've got that support, which hopefully everyone does. But for me, she was my reminder of my why. But very lucky that I also have always just known that
it was inside of you. Yeah.
Girl, yeah.
Yeah, well said. I think it is we've never actually had that answer at the end of a success interview, but it's something that we teach in CFS Health. We do a yearly workshop just on vision, and we do a vision board session for all of our clients because ultimately recovery requires a commitment that like kind of sucks. It's not easy. It's not always fun. It's definitely not glamorous. It's not glamorous.
No.
And so
it's not fun at all.
it's not. It gets better and it can become fun as you get better, and that's the best part about it all. But initially,
until you get that part,
until you get on that path, it's not fun. And so the vision and the why is what keeps you going to do the stuff that you don't necessarily feel like doing. When motivation isn't there and you rely on something more important. So having a vision or a mission bigger than your current circumstances is freaking vital.
And you can take that with you. I mean, I still do vision boards. I do vision boards all the time. I think they're so magical and so important. So it's not something that stops when you recover. They just expand.
Well, I think to close on that, I think there's what you're saying throughout this entire theme, which I just love, is that. And we talk about this all the time in our program now, and the mentorship is like health is forever, recovery doesn't have to be. So as you get healthier, you don't just stop all the things that helped you become healthy, like good nutrition, movement, sleep, boundaries, looking after yourself, all those things, they just become part of your life. But it's not because you need to for recovery, because that's no longer a problem. And so it's just fascinating to hear you talk, because it has been years, to be honest, since you've recovered, which kind of is prevalent in the way that you're talking. But it's like the health fundamentals don't stop. It's just that recovery is no longer an option. You don't need to look at it anymore.
No, and it becomes, I think you want to keep going on that path, because you go, all of this helped me so much. You go, imagine, like, the human body is incredible. Yeah, like,
Wow.
what else can I do? Yeah, I think that's always, like, I just want to see what more, like, how much stronger can I get? What can I do next? Like, it just, and that's like with the vision board, it just keeps growing. It just keeps expanding.
Yeah.
You just keep getting better.
So good. All right. This has been amazing. We're about to wrap up. Final word from you. What's something that you'd like to leave people with, who are kind of feeling like they're going to give up right now and they're a bit lost?
I feel like everyone's going to say keep going, but keep going. There's so much more on the other side, and there really is, and it doesn't always look crystal clear in the moment, and it's probably not going to for a little while, but it's beautiful and it's fun and it's another challenge. But once you get through this bit, the challenges get a little bit easier.
They become fun challenges.
Oh, just depends on the day.
Well, they're definitely not chronic fatigue challenges. Chronic fatigue. That's the difference. Yeah, you're amazing. Like, you've come freaking far since I met you, 12, 13 years ago to where you're at now. I'm excited for your future, even though it's already cranking and you're doing amazing things. I don't know. I see you on a big stage somewhere in the near future.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
At the moment, I just got married and I'm enjoying.
Oh my God. Show us the ring. Show us the ring. Give us a look. Give us a look. Wow. Oh, wow. That's a serious diamond right there. Oh, congrats.
Thank you. That's the thing. Yeah, you go through different seasons. And right now my season is like to just grow as a person and enjoy the next chapter. And that's something else to look forward to,
So good. Yeah, super inspiring. Appreciate you being on here today and sharing your story. And I just know for a fact that it's going to inspire someone today to take action on their own life and their own recovery so they can move forward. So appreciate you, Britt. Keep being amazing.
I'll try. Thanks, Sophie.
Give my love to your mum as well. And we'll stay in touch and we'll see you soon.
Please.
Au revoir.
Okay.